We have made it to the fourth installment of our Skin Cancer Awareness series. Thanks for sticking with us. Just so you know, in case you missed any of the first parts, we have talked so far about the major three types of skin cancer. We've talked specifically about personal risk factors and how to do a self-exam. And we looked at overexposure to the sun and what we can do related to sunscreens and sunblock. Today, we're going to talk about some other ways we might minimize that sun exposure to be aware of what we can take into our own control for helping prevent the potential for skin cancer. This information is shared in our newsletter. If you're interested in signing up for that, please contact the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service here at our office. We are 575-763-6505. This information is all coming from a publication done by our Extension Health Specialist, Ms. Sonia Kukel, who has done a fantastic job updating and putting out information related to a variety of health topics that you can find at our nmsu.edu website. If you would like a copy of this or any of Dr. Kukel's other publications, you can contact our office and we will be glad to get that for you. As we talked last time, overexposure to the sun is one of the major risk factors related to skin cancer because those ultraviolet rays do damage your skin cells, and that's what can lead to a malformation or some issue related to your cells that can then develop into cancer. So it's critically important that we protect ourselves from that increasing exposure to the sun, particularly in New Mexico. We are a wonderful state with a lot of desert. And then along with that, we have high elevations, really clear skies. We have warm weather almost year round in most parts of the state. And so people spend more time outdoors. They wear less clothing at those times. And so we talked last time, on regular midsummer day, a fair-skinned person can get sunburned within 9 minutes. So it's important to understand what we can do to help minimize the effect of those UV rays on our skin. And so we talked last time about using a sunblock or a broad spectrum sunscreen. I'm going to give you some additional things to think about this time. So we identified the difference between a sunblock and a sunscreen and the importance of reapplying that sunscreen. Sometimes, we get busy, we don't think about it. And so we can take some other steps. These are better along with the use of the sunscreen, but they don't take the place of it, but it's something that you can add to. So think about, particularly when you are outside working in the garden, when you're out tending your fields or herding your cattle, whatever that happens to be that you're doing, make sure you do have that wide-brimmed hat on. It helps protect your scalp. You want it to come over so that it's protecting your eyes. You want it to shade your ears and all of your face. And then that gives you that wider spectrum to cover your neck as well. So it's tempting and easy to just throw on a cap, particularly like me, where I like to have my hair pulled up and I can run it through the back, but there's no protection there for my neck or my ears. So that's something to really think about if you're going to be out in the sun. Wear wraparound sunglasses that provide 100% UV protection. Again, this is a product. You're going to want to read the labels. You're going to want to check the information because when you purchase sunglasses, there's a wide variety of how they really affect. Is it just shading things a little bit for your eyes, or is it really blocking and helping you fight those UV rays that can come in, as well as that area around your eyes where we tend to have that sensitive skin? Limit your time in the sun when the rays are the strongest. So this is the time you don't really want to be outside. Unfortunately, it's also the time most of us are awake and about and ready to do things. And so that's from 10 a.m. in the morning to that 4 p.m. in the evening. Those are going to be your time frame where the sun is at its strongest, it's at its highest, particularly if you're at a higher elevation. You're really going to want to consider that time frame in how often and how much you are exposed to the sun. Seek shade whenever possible, and that can be your man-made, hey, I'm taking it with me shade, or some type of a wonderful natural occurring shade if you do live somewhere where you have a lot of trees and things around. To test the strength of UV rays, you can always use the shadow test. So if your shadow is shorter than you are tall, the sun's rays are at their strongest because it's hitting you at that spot to where it's going to be at its strongest coming at you. So that's something you can remember and try to help protect yourself that, hey, my shadow's a little short right now. This is probably not the best time to be outside and exposed to the sun. And I was told this my whole life, but you all know as we're young and we think we're invincible, we don't always do the things that we should for the best possible reasons. But as we age, we learn the value. And so this is an important key piece. Take care of your skin. Avoid getting those sunburns. Avoid deliberate tanning in the sun and using tanning beds and sun lamps because of the UV radiation that comes from them as well. So we're not saying you can never, ever do any of these things, but you need to be very aware of what the risks are in choosing to do those things and how you can take care of and better serve your skin. Wear protective clothing. Now, so these include fabrics with a tight weave, so a long sleeve shirt, long pants or skirts, and dark colors. Well, I don't want to be hot. I don't want to wear dark colors, but they're going to help get that off of you from those UV rays. Hold it up to the light. And if you can see through the fabric, that means those UV rays can get through it too. So those are things you want to consider knowing you're going to be out working. I mean, my thing is I got to pick a shirt to go out and help build fence. I need to look at that and really consider, hey, am I going to get burned or have UV rays coming through my clothing while I'm out there for all of that time? So just remember that if you can see through that fabric, those UV rays can come through it as well. You can purchase clothing with a UV protection factor. They call this UPF. And those are available, particularly when you see swim shirts or children's clothing. You'll see this as an option for swimwear. The higher the UPF, so they go from 15 to upwards of 50, kind of similar to your sunscreens, the higher the protection. So again, that's how much of those rays it's going to block for you if you wear that. Remember, children, and we're going to say this even more, not just children, we as older adults need to consider these things as well, should wear hats and protective clothing, limit time in the sun, and apply sunscreen and apply it often in generous amounts. So you're going to use extra care if you're taking care of those little guys, that 6 months and younger, and keeping them out of the sun and not having those effects on their very, very sensitive skin. So these are things, other factors you can consider along with your sunscreen for helping minimize that overexposure to the sun, or more specifically to those harmful UV rays that affect your skin cells and can be an additional factor related to skin cancer. As with all of the sections of this series, this is for informational purposes only. We want you to talk to your medical professionals. If you need advice, if you're looking for a diagnosis, or you might need treatment, this is no substitute for that. This is specifically what it says, awareness, and for educational purposes. Again, I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service. Thank you for being a part of this series related to skin cancer awareness. You can see our contact information on the screen. You're welcome to get in touch with our office. Again, if you'd like hard copies of any of the publications that we've promoted or used, or if you'd like to sign up to receive our newsletter, you can do that. Thank you.